Oh, Jesus. No, don't do that. Okay. Hi. Hello. It's me again. Hair's not eating my face. Let me fix that. I feel like it's become a thing where my hair is just eating my face. Anyways, I hope the audio is better in this one because I went and listened back to the other one and it was so bad. And you can see in the corner of the screen a microphone right here. And, my hair looks so bad. Okay, whatever. I am mad because this is the second time I've tried to record a video, and the first time I couldn't upload it because it was 17 instead of 15 minutes, and I'm mad because that's not that much, and I tried to edit it, but I'm stupid when it comes to computers, and I don't know how to edit that shit, so this is where we're at. I just realized, I don't know if the door is closed. If my roommate hears this, I'm probably going to sound insane. My hair still doesn't look better. But anyways, moving on. I have a semi-controversial idea to present. I don't think it's controversial. I think it's a decent thing to say. Oh my god, could this not look that bad? But yeah, I was just going to talk about how something that upsets me. Because, especially after the whole, you know, the obviously you probably know if you exist on the internet or watch YouTube, the whole thing with the sociopath thing with Jake Paul. Anyways, I'm not saying he was or wasn't, I don't know, but I definitely do not agree whatsoever with the way in which that, actually I'm going to approach this topic first. Nothing against Shane Dawson. I love him. It is and his products, content for the most part, but that one angered me the most, particularly because of the way the therapist approached the topic, saying it's icky. That part in particular really upset me, and probably definitely biased. I am a psych major, and I am almost done with my psychology associates, but I've been studying the subject for many, many years prior to that. I am by no means a qualified medical professional yet, because I intend to become one, but I'm going to be referring to all of my knowledge that I have right now for that, and just as it, preface, most of what I am lacking in terms of getting my associate's degree, at the very least, is not really related to the psychology. It's mostly, GE stuff, but anyways, that's not the point. I am not a qualified medical professional, but I want to put in my 2 cents, especially in terms of from the point of someone who's a sociopath. And being called a sociopath relates to antisocial personality disorder, as is referred to in the DSM, by many characteristics. And in my head, I sort of categorize sociopaths and psychopaths as 2 different things, and that is actually something that is referred to a lot online, but it's not yet in the DSM, which, if you didn't know, is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, and it's essentially the Bible of psychiatrists and medical professionals in the mental health field and all that. And it's not yet differentiated, but I just sort of keep a different. It's still not okay. Okay, whatever. It's just you know what? It's whatever. I'm just gonna lean forward so it cuts off. I'm gonna fix that. That upsets me. But yeah. So, in my mind, I sort of consider psychopaths to be the ones like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, and all that, where they become much more volatile and dangerous, and I consider sociopaths, again, this is all in my mind and the way I interpret it, to be the ones that are less likely to commit really violent crimes and to really progress, but that doesn't mean that they can't. It's more in the sense that a part of it is being much more lazy, sort of. They don't want to go through having to deal with being caught, or are much more methodical, much more careful within their crimes, stuff like that. But I want to clarify the fact that I do not believe that a sociopath, someone diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, will inevitably become, in my mind, a psychopath or is one. But let me just refer to it from a clinical perspective. I do not believe that they will necessarily turn to a life of crime. I really do not, because I think it's how a person approaches it, how they approach their disorder and everything. And yes, therapy doesn't always work, because when you try to give therapy to someone who has a disorder, and I realize this in myself, sort of, because I am a sociopath, that it's kind of hard because you sort of just learn more manipulation skills. But the difference is, I don't use those skills in a harmful way. I'm not out here to manipulate every single person. And one thing, at least from my studies and knowledge, is that those with this disorder are not devoid of human emotion. They have it sort of like at a muted level. Kind of like imagine it turning down the volume on the amount of these emotions. And you can either address them or ignore them because they're at a muted level. And in a way, it's sort of like picking and choosing, I guess, what you want to feel, when you want to feel guilt or something. And your morals are skewed, but you can still recognize that they're skewed. So that's the big difference to me, is that there are those who recognize they're skewed and decide, you know what, fuck it, I'm still gonna be a fucking asshole and a horrible person and all that. And there are the people that are like, okay, they're skewed, so I shouldn't always act upon what my sort of skewed morals make me think may be okay to surpass. And as an individual that is a sociopath, it bothers me how the majority of people will always call people that are bad people sociopaths. Because, yes, a lot of bad people are sociopaths, but I don't like how so many of them are automatically considered sociopaths or psychopaths or any of that. Because, as of now, both of those terms refer to the disorder called antisocial personality disorder, which has traits such as volatile behaviors, problems with impulsivity, problems with empathy and all that. And yes, in terms of me, I have many of those. But I'm a psych degree, and I have a great desire to help people like me because I have also many other problems. My major one for this channel being autistic, but I really want to speak out on this topic. The fact that it shouldn't be an icky feeling. But let's set aside that whole situation because it's been talked about and beaten to death, honestly. But just to go on from a tangent from what I actually intended on making this video, just that idea about sociopaths, because being a sociopath does not mean you have to inherently become a horrible person. And I think it's important to recognize that because it sort of means you've got the choice of being one or not, of being devoid of all the immorality and everything. But let me go aside from that whole topic, because I'm at 7 minutes, and the reason why I was upset was because I had 17 instead of 15 minutes, so I've apparently got only very few more minutes, was, actually, oh god, should I stop this one? Okay, let's make this part 1 in case I run out of time, and that upsets me. I originally was going to make this video about a different thing, but then it became another thing, which was about Onision, and also the lost opportunity. People really should have made him with the name of which I originally genuinely read his name, I don't know why, but as Onion Son. Lost opportunity. Really lost opportunity. But Onion Son is, they throw out the term sociopath with that, and I don't know whether or not he has been diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. If he has, then yeah, he would be considered a sociopath. But unless and until we know that, I don't know, I guess I just don't like being associated with someone as horrible as him. But if he ends up being one, I guess I gotta live with that fact, because then he is one. But he's the bad egg. He's a bad egg, because we're not all like that. But with that being said, he is very much a not good in person. And let me just make that shown that I, as a sociopath, am saying he's not a good person. And I don't believe in any sense of the word that any of what he's done is okay. Even with the sense of skewed morality that comes with it, or problems with having empathy, I still am able to have sympathy. He's not a good person. And he's hurt a lot of people. And there is no way in any form, no way in hell I would find even some way to justify that. And I want that to be very clear. I just wanted to clarify that just calling him a sociopath and throwing it out there without it being clarified from a diagnostic perspective kind of irks me, because I don't think it's right to just call people that for no reason unless it's justified, not in their actions, but from a medical perspective. That being said, I was watching videos, and one of them was by Strange Zeons. I have no idea to pronounce her name, and I'm sorry. But yeah. And I really love her videos on him. He is a train wreck. And not just a train wreck of a train going off the rails. No, he's a train wreck where it went off the rails, ran over a bunch of people, then went over the side of went over the side of a mountain and then threw themselves off and then tumbled down, and then he is the most thing that I can envision as a train wreck, especially because he just keeps throwing himself under the bus in a way of, like, for someone that claims he is a fact machine and intelligence so far, he is stupid as hell. I don't know what his IQ is, but I'd call it negative whatever as far as it can go in relation to knowing how to be a decent human being, especially, but also how to cover his tracks. I don't think it's by any means good. I think it's good that he's bad at covering his tracks. I don't think it would be smart. I think it would be smart of him to shut his fucking mouth and deal with the consequences of his actions thus far, instead of digging himself a deeper hole. And also mainly because then he might hurt other people. I think it's awful what he's done, and I think he should not be held like an innocent person, or not be held responsible, because it's kind of leaning that way that Kai is the one that's going to be convicted. I by no means think Kai is a victim past this point. I think Kai was a victim, but I think it went to a very dark turn, and he became no longer a victim and a perpetrator, which is sad, I guess, but is no longer... I wouldn't consider that sad to me, because the actions speak louder than words, and could have gone two ways, and it went the wrong way. And there's no way of justifying that. And so, that being said, as something that Strange Anne said would be really something to piss me off, is that if Kai got convicted and Onion Sun didn't, because Onion Sun deserves to be convicted just as much as Kai does. And I would say if not more, but I don't think that's like good to say against the victims, because the victims of either of them deserve just as much justice. But I'd say Onion Sun has a bunch of things that could be convicted of him, but I'm not sure how legally. But I think there's a way, because when it comes to the legal system, it can be corrupt because of the loopholes, but it can also work because of the loopholes. So someone out there should find a way to make the loopholes work, because Onion Sun deserves to be convicted just as much as Kai. And I think that Kai, I'm really hoping does get convicted, but I hope so much that Onion Sun does as well, because his case is frustrating as hell because of what he's done to so many people. Low-hanging fruit to shit on him, but there's no amount of shitting on him that isn't warranted at this point. And again, or not again, but I'm really genuinely curious, how the fuck is he still on YouTube? Chris Hansen, from what I have heard, has reached out to Susan. Susan, please. Please. I don't know why, maybe there's a reason that I'm unaware of, but not even just to Susan, but just like, I'm just curious. Why not? Could we at least know why not? Because people have been taken off of YouTube for less than this. And so why shouldn't he? He's a predator. He's a person that I would consider horrible. And I'd say that I'm biased in that, but no, I don't think that's a biased opinion, because the actions speak louder than the words. But what is considered a horrible person could be different from person to person, but regardless, let's at least say he's done horrible acts that need to have justice for them, and justice for the victims more than anything. And I myself can relate to what the victims feel in a certain sense, but definitely not in terms of having a spotlight put upon it. But yeah, I'm approaching a apparent 15-minute limit, so I'm going to say bye, and this is pretty off what I usually do type of video, but I don't know, it just, things irked me, and he's annoying, and should be shit on as much as possible by as many people, so bye for now, and hope this was at least relatively interesting. Please stop.